as we are basically fixated on the physical world within which we reside. We tend to look at the development of forms and the relationship of form to function on the physical level. Scientists such as Darwin studied the evolution of species. Mendel looked at the genetic factors that have later been charted to determine dominant or recessive traits and the method of transmission of these traits. It is clear from the work done by scientists that there is both an evolutionary tree of development and a specific methodology for specific species to pass along specific characteristics to maintain continuity within that species, while there are also mechanisms for structural or functional modifications due to either mixing of the gene pool or through mutation. It is clear that form and function have developed side by side. The ability to walk upright, the development of the opposable thumb, and other features helped make humanity into a unique species, which developed new skill sets over time as these changes took hold in the evolutionary process on the physical level. Along with these physical changes came increases in brain size and complexity, refinements of a nervous system for both perception and response that make humanity stand out in the evolutionary development of physical forms. This does not imply that humanity has the most advanced of particular aspects of physical development. Some beings swim, some fly, some have a type of sonar for echolocation. Others can run faster, jump higher, see further, recognize colors or sounds outside the human range. These are not, however, the unique characteristics that make human beings truly human. Physical evolution has dominated the discussion as it is literally right before our eyes. What is harder to perceive, and thus to understand and formulate, is the evolution of consciousness that drives and utilizes the process of the evolution of forms. Within the context of an individual's life, also, it is virtually impossible to understand the relevancy or the mechanism as relate to that individual's consciousness. Thus, the question of rebirth and the successive development of consciousness across multiple lives and innumerable forms becomes a necessity to trace the development of consciousness and forms in their deepest connected sense. Sri Aurobindo writes in The Life Divine, quote, "This terrestrial evolutionary working of nature from matter to mind and beyond it has a double process. There is an outward visible process of physical evolution with birth as its machinery. For each evolved form of body housing its own evolved power of consciousness is maintained and kept in continuity by heredity. There is, at the same time, an invisible process of soul evolution with rebirth into ascending grades of form and consciousness as its machinery. The first by itself would mean only a cosmic evolution, for the individual would be a quickly perishing instrument, and the race, a more abiding collective formulation, would be the real step in the progressive manifestation of the cosmic inhabitant, the universal spirit. Rebirth is an indispensable condition for any long duration and evolution of the individual being in the earth existence. Each grade of cosmic manifestation, each type of form that can house the indwelling spirit, is turned by rebirth into a means for the individual soul, the psychic entity, to manifest more and more of its concealed consciousness. Each life becomes a step in a victory over matter by a greater progression of consciousness in it, which shall make eventually matter itself a means for the full manifestation of the Spirit." End quote. A disciple inquires, "It is difficult to understand, sweet mother." The mother responds, quote, "Ah, if you take terrestrial history, all the forms of life have appeared one after another in a general plan, a general program, with the addition always of a new perfection and a greater consciousness. Take just the animal forms, for that is easier to understand. They are the last before man. Each animal that appeared had an additional perfection in its general nature. I don't mean in all the details, a greater perfection than the preceding ones. And the crowning point of the ascending march was the human form which, for the moment, from the point of view of consciousness, is the form most capable of manifesting consciousness. That is, the human form at its height, at the height of its possibilities, is capable of more consciousness than all preceding animal forms. This is one of nature's ways of evolution." End quote. Reference, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, Our Many Selves, Practical Yogic Psychology, Chapter 6, Some Answers and Explanations, pages 215 to 217.